Hello and welcome to Pokésports, a competitive Pokemon podcast. I'm Mike and I play with one Pokemon on the field.
I'm Kevin and Skill Swap is the best move in the game.
Kevin has found the best move in the game.
The best.
Only 4 months into the game. Kevin, please tell the people, how do you feel about Skill Swap?
I was so anxious. For almost a week, I had to keep this secret. Because I
didn't do a very good. You streamed.
That's okay.
You streamed several days, and the name of the stream was Skill Swap Skibbity Bop. Continue.
It was.
Yeah.
Well, I tried my best to keep it a secret. I never said my best was great.
You're a very loud person.
It was my best.
Yeah.
And that's because the one thing, if anyone's ever played in DDR Rouge out there, and congratulations, Kevin, you found the one thing that makes in DDR Rouge good literally days before you're not allowed to use it anymore.
Oh, that's the one thing that makes in DDR Rouge
That's one
good?
of the things, you know. Okay. The other thing is the whole, glitch
everything that
trick
either of them do together.
Yeah. So back to what I was saying.
Yes.
One of the best counters to in DDR Rouge is Ice Spinner, used on Dragonite and or Great Tusk. What Skill Swap does is reset Psychic Terrain once they get rid of it. So then you can proceed to size spam.
There are so many fun interactions that you can do with Skill Swap. I'm just thinking about it now, like skill swapping onto the Dragonite that just used Ice Spinner and resetting Psychic Terrain is one thing. You also take away its multi-scale.
Yeah, thanks for the multi-scale, dude.
Yeah.
Good luck
so
with
now you're a
this
multi-scale in
force.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, if I'm going to be entirely honest, I got to use it like maybe twice in the whole tournament.
Sure.
But the one time I did use it, I got a compliment. They were like, "Oh, that's so smart."
That's the thing. It's a conversation starter. It's a conversation starter. You know, the one time where I had that team, you know, the one last year during Sword and Shield, I went in to a regionals. I paid money to go out. I believe this was internationals.
Yes.
And I brought a Latias with Healing Wish, which just offed itself in order to heal somebody else, bring somebody else back from the dead. And I got it off. Not bring somebody else back from the dead. I remember how this worked out. It healed people back up to full.
It was the pre-Palmot.
It was the pre-Palmot. They saw the process and they trusted it enough to make it its own move. So I brought that to an internationals, which in retrospect was kind of probably a bit of a waste, but it's okay. It's fine.
You took that spot from somebody else.
I did. I had so many very fun conversations because of that combo. And I don't regret that at all, because now I've met a couple of people because of the fact that they were like, "Hey, can you tell me what happened? What was that?
Why did you die?
Did the game glitch out for a second there? And then did one of your Pokemon like fully heal?" Yes, it did, actually. And I'll tell
there
you
are people that
it.
don't know what we're talking about. Okay.
No, exactly.
Should we let them just not know what we're talking about?
I mean, maybe. Well, if they're good, I'll let them in on the secret later. No, I'm kidding. I'll tell you about it right now. So back in Sword and Shield, there was a little thing called Dynamax. Okay. It was a broken mechanic that did way too many things all at once. Everything, everywhere, all at once. It made your Pokemon big, doubled its HP, and gave you a whole bunch of big moves. Latias had a little thing called Healing Wish, which knocked itself out, but made it so that the next Pokemon that you flip into would heal back up to full, or would leave like a healing aura spot.
If that Pokemon was already full HP, yeah.
If that Pokemon was already full HP. You would go into Solgaleo is what I used to do. And you would Dynamax. You would start doing the big attacks. And if you ever got hit, how that works?
If you lost a lot of health, they will target Solgaleo, yeah.
Yeah. Then it would heal up. No, it was ally switch.
Yeah, then you'd ally
if you ally switched into the spot. Yeah. If you ally switched into the spot where your Latias died, it would heal back up to full.
Mm-hmm.
And that was great when Dynamax doubled your HP.
It don't do that no more because it don't exist no more.
It don't exist no more. But it was really, it's really cool actually. And I want to talk about that for a second where now we're in a terrestrialization meta. And I think we've spent enough time in the meta to say that we've like understood, we get terrestrialization.
Oh yeah, I think we fully understand it.
Yeah,
by now.
It is such a breath of fresh air compared
so
to Dynamax.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I do not hear nearly as much crying about Dynamax Pokemon, and the only times that I hear people complaining about terrestrialization is when they didn't think of it, when they didn't remember that terrestrialization was still a thing.
The one issue that I have with it is maybe closed team sheets, but when you got open team sheets, it's like, okay, yeah, this is fine. I can predict this any day of the week. I have a brain.
So you're talking about like the ladder.
Yeah, when it's the ladder, that's why sometimes there are just things that are annoying. Like it's like, I'm going to use Armarouge because that's what I played with all weekend. But Armarouge with Grass Terra, you really got to coin flip what it's going to do. Because if it doesn't Grass Terra, then your ice moves aren't going to do anything to it. But if it does Grass Terra, your EQs aren't going to do any damage to it. So there's always that little bit of mind games. But that's just a part of the game. That's a part of Pokemon. It's a lot better than, is my opponent going to double their HP right now?
Right.
You know?
My recent thing has been Golden Go, where it can terrestrialize into so many things. Mm-hmm. You can go and Terra Steel to make your Make It Rains do more. You can Terra Flying so that the ground attacks won't do extra damage. You can Terra Ghost to make your Shadow Balls do more. You can Terra Rock to make your Power Gems do more. Hey, you can Terra Fairy if you want your Dazzling Gleams to do more. You know what? You can Terra Electric if you want your Thunderbolts to do more. You can do all of that. This weekend, I was playing against a person who went Terra Normal on their Golden Go. And yes, I did just target them with a Shadow Ball from my Flutter Mane. And yes, it would have KO'd, but they decided to Terra Normal into the one type that it just wouldn't do any damage. Why did they know that I was going to do that and that I was going to bring that Pokemon on that day? How many lives have they lived that they have reached this point and knew that that was what I was going to do?
You know what, Mike? Just be happy that you were the one person that it worked on.
Honestly.
I mean, honestly, I get that feeling sometimes when I'm playing online ladder and something happens that, okay, I had the same experience in Sword and Shield, but that's the experience I remember, but not the experience that I have, because I have it daily where I'm just like, of course I'd go against the one thing that would happen.
Yes.
I think most recently I went against a false surrender Grimmsnarl that one-shot my Indeedee. I was like, since what? And then I go on Peakalytics and I check the chances of false surrender. It's not even there. It's like one of the 4% others that is there. I'm just like, okay, I mean, I guess I couldn't predict this, but one of the other ones was in Sword and Shield. It was me versus Grimmsnarl, and I still had Dynamax left. The Grimmsnarl was on the enemy team, and I had a Gastrodon. My Gastrodon was about half HP. So I was like, screw it, I'm going to Dynamax, and I'm just going to, just smack him with some Earth Powers until the end of the game.
Sure.
I thought I was fine. This Grimmsnarl whips out a Power Whip, dude, and I die. I'm just like, oh yeah, sure. I would be the one to go against the one Power Whip Grimmsnarl on the ladder. And the thing is, like, it was also dual screens. It was dual screens with Fake Out and Power Whip. The only attacking move.
Huh.
I almost quit. That was almost another hiatus right there.
We would have had to come back with Pokésports 3.0.
Yeah. Also, shout out to Bruno from Georgia VGC for the skill swap tech. I didn't come up with it on my own.
Well, I will say I was playing on stream, twitch.tv/Pokésports, a couple hours, I think, before you did, where you were showing off skill swap. And I not only took your team, but took Bruno's team. And I was playing around with both of them. And they're both great teams. Bruno's team, it was a little more cohesive to me. It was a little bit more like what I felt like a team should be. But you have your own style of battling, and I can't emulate that. I don't really know how to play like you do. So it didn't work very well for me, but Bruno's, that did work very well. And I really liked skill swap for that.
The one thing that you playing Bruno's team convinced me to do was to have my Armourouge outspeed Indeedee, so that in Trick Room Indeedee would go first. I'm like, okay, that's kind of smart. Yeah. That 1 or 2 extra points in speed. I think it's only 4 IVs you have to have in speed, and you have to make it modest for it to outspeed the min speed Indeedee. But yeah, no, that was a great change. You playing that made my team better, I think, for the actual upcoming tournament.
So tell me again what the reason for that is. Why have Indeedee go first in Trick Room before Armourouge? Because,
okay, I'm going to paint turn 1 for you.
Yeah, please.
You have Great Tusk and Dragonite on the enemy side of the field, and you have Indeedee Armourouge on your side of the field. Turn 1, what you have to do is follow me, Trick Room. They're going to Ice Spinner to break your terrain, no matter what. You might want to Grass Terra the Armourouge in case you don't want to get EQ'd. But yes, that's the option. So then next turn, what ends up happening is, okay, now my Indeedee is going to go first. I'm going to skill swap first. And I'm going to get the terrain back up so that the Armourouge can actually do Expanding Force that next turn. Versus the other way around, where I would have gotten Trick Room up and I can't Expanding Force. I would have to waste a turn to protect just to set up the terrain. And then by the time it's set up next turn, they're going to be like, oh, wait, I can just Ice Spinner again. So it's like, it's a really awkward situation. You'd rather have most of your damage and most of your things and your surprise factors happen on 1 turn rather than 2.
Right. You mainly have the beginning of turn 2 and the beginning of turn 3 to actually make those decisions, because on that second turn, they're going for like the actual attacks. And then on the turn after that, they're like, oh no, I need to get rid of the terrain again. And then they go an Ice Spinner, but you're in Trick Room. So you will be going before them. But right after that's done, it's Ice Spinner Town population Dragonite.
The difference is Indeedee outspeeding in Trick Room allows me to get 2 Expanding Forces off versus just 1.
Right. That makes sense. Okay, cool. Well, there's that. So like we're kind of alluding to here, Charlotte Regionals was
I went somewhere
this past weekend. Yeah, Kevin went somewhere. I didn't. And I was very sad about that because apparently there were a lot of people out there who recognized Kevin.
I signed a Switch.
Oh, amazing.
I ruined a Switch. I'm so sorry.
Amazing. I'm so proud of you for ruining a Switch.
Limited edition BDSP Switch 2. Or was it Zombizentization? It was limited edition Switch. I know that much.
A Sword and Shield one?
I think so. It might have been the Zombizentization one. Sorry.
Dude, nice. No, I'm happy for you. I wish I was there to ruin that Switch with you.
I vandalized the Switch.
Yep.
I put my name right next to James Beck. It was great.
I would vandalize a Switch. No, it was that's a bad sentence to take out of context. It's gonna be like me on a screen. I would vandalize a Switch done in like cursive writing down at the bottom, Mike 2023.
I tagged the Switch.
Yeah. It was apparently a very good time. A lot of people said hi to Kevin. I wish that I was there to also see people say hi to Kevin.
People wished you were there. They were like, where's Mike? Where's Mike? Where's Mike? And I was just like, good question. I don't know. I'm alone. I'm an introvert. You're talking to me. I need my buddy. Where's my buddy?
I need my emotional support, Michael.
That's what I needed. And you weren't there. It's okay. I adopted Pierre. He was my emotional support. Your mind. Come with me everywhere.
It's fine. You always need your emotional support, Canadian.
I do. Yeah. If I can't have one, I'll have the other.
That's right. Not only that, but we were shouted out on the stream.
Accidentally, I'm sure, but thanks.
Accidentally, yeah.
Thanks, Maeve. Appreciate you.
They did. We love you, Maeve. They did a whole thing where like they started bringing up tweets and like talking about people who were talking about the event. And Kevin had tweeted the day before that he had gone 6-3 and had a really good time. And I guess whoever pulled together those tweets was like, oh, okay, cool. Let's put these guys up on stream. Little did they know that the people who were talking about them knew who we were. So they were like, oh, yeah, it's Pokésports Pod. And then they started talking about them a little bit, but then they stopped very quickly. So we're a little worried that they might have said something something that they shouldn't have, but yeah, it's okay.
Did we get producered?
We might have got producered.
Uh-oh.
It's fine. We're safe for, not only are we safe for kids, we're safe for the families. We're also safe for any potential advertisers. So don't worry about shouting us out. That's okay.
We promise not to cancel ourselves.
We promise that we will hopefully not cancel ourselves.
But yeah, Charlotte, the thing that surprises me a lot is that typically like people recognize me because of the hat or because of the shirt, because of something. Okay.
You're fully branded out for sure.
Yeah, right now I am because, YouTube video.
But also at Charlotte and at these events, you're fully
the day out, right? I wasn't, I guess I was wearing like the skull hat. The day that I was organized the most, I was wearing the Bulbasaur skull or the Charmander skull. I don't even know which one I brought. And I was wearing a Dozo Bozo shirt. So I was branded, but it wasn't like, the sword and the shield.
The thing that people would probably
it wasn't our Nike logo. They said they recognized me through my voice.
Oh.
So I'm like, oh, you're a pod listener. Like, you have to be. They were like, I don't remember your names. I'm sorry, guys. There were so many of you. I love you. There were a couple of people that were just like, hey, do you mind if I ask you a silly question? I was like, go for it. Do you have a podcast? And I was like, I don't know, maybe. What podcast?
Oh, you played coy.
Of course.
Yeah,
I wanted to see if you actually knew who I was. Like, I wanted to see if they were a one episode.
Super effective. And you're
that's the one.
No,
that's the one. Nice to meet you. My name is SBJ.
That's right.
Look fun. Just like them, talk just like them.
Okay, so you played the little guessing game, and
they recognized me through my voice, which is perfect. Like, I expected my face because it was a maskless event. Yes, you could still wear masks, but I opted not to.
Sure.
So I was like, oh, they're just gonna see me and the scruffy beard and the glasses. They're gonna be like, oh, look, it's Kevin. Well, they were looking at me, playing against me even sometimes.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I said a word that they were like, wait a second. Like, I sat at the table. It was an opponent one round. I sat at the table. They actually went through the loading screen. I guess they didn't see Pokésports at all. But it's the second that I said, they like crit me or something. And I said,
yeah.
I doubt it mattered. The second I said that, they're like, wait a second.
They woke up. The sleeper agent inside of them woke up. They were like,
I doubt it mattered.
Yeah. Wow. I like to think that the people who heard your voice and was like, wait a second, I know where I know you from. Those are the people who like, maybe they saw like a video of yours or a couple of videos of yours. And then they're like, this guy might be someone I know, but who would they be? And then when you said something, they're like, okay, now I'm putting a face and a voice together. Now I think I know who this person is.
It's all clicking, yeah. I got a lot of compliments.
Really, really love it if like one person just heard, yeah, I don't think it mattered. And they were like, wait a second.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah. I wish. I hope that it's like that.
We got a lot of compliments on our damage calculator too, or weakness calculator, saying it helped them a lot when the game first came out and no one else had one. So appreciate that one as well. I got a couple of those this weekend. And I was like, it was great because they were complimenting damage calculator while Pierre was standing right next to me. I was like, well, he made it.
Yeah,
and he was just
like,
hi, it's me.
I hope that worked. By the way, I hope that works out well for Pierre having made that. I hope he's able to put that on some kind of like portfolio or something. But anyway,
that's his clout points though. When he goes to events, is like, hey, I created the Pokésports damage calc. It's me.
Well, exactly right, and like whenever you see, who's it, Calvin, Babiri.net, or what was Babiri and now is something else.
Order Up Bot.
That's it. Order Up Bot. Yeah. Like whenever you see him, like he is celebrity. People have used his site, but a lot of people don't know what he looks like or don't know what he sounds like. And then he'll just come out and be like, yeah, that's me. And everyone will be like, what? You're that?
Or like Evan and VGC Pace whenever we saw Evan in person too.
Exactly.
Guys updating VGC Pace in a bar. I still remember that. Laptop
busting
in the bar.
Up the laptop. He's doing it all there. It's great. Let's talk about Charlotte though. Charlotte had 730 Masters players, which
quite a lot.
Was way more than I thought there would be.
Yeah, it was it was popping.
Granted, I have no idea
as Orlando, but still a lot.
Fair enough. But it's still close.
I do think Hartford is gonna break the cap. Like that's my prediction.
Really?
It's the only one in the Northeast. These are all Southern ones. We're going Northeast for Hartford. I think we're breaking the cap. We got a lot of players in the Northeast.
So we're gonna get like the New Yorkers.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And it's gonna be like after like while classes and colleges are out, so more people will have time to go. So I think it's gonna be it's gonna be an experience.
I'm looking forward to Ohio as well. I have decided that I am in fact going to be going to Ohio.
Changed his mind.
I changed my mind. I might have mentioned this on the podcast that I'm not able to go, but that has changed. I am now able to, so that's fun. We've got Milwaukee, Charlotte, and Ohio. That we're going to be going to.
We already went to Charlotte, Mike.
We need to get past Charlotte if we're going to get to there. Yeah. March 25th, 26th, 730 Masters players. Do we want to talk about Ohio again? No, let's go back to Charlotte. Here we go. Okay. VGC regulation set B.
Oh boy. Did they say that? They said that.
They just fully changed.
I hate it.
They retroactively took it back. Yeah.
Take me back. No, take me back too.
Take me back. Yeah. What can you say about the whole experience before we get into the top 8, before we get into the X3 debacle? What can you say about the whole experience?
I think overall they run tremendously well. These were the same organizers as Orlando, and I think they took Orlando and they learned so much from it. Instead of playing Pokemon not 10 rounds of Swiss until 11 p.m. like we did for Orlando, nearly 14 hours, 15 hours of Pokemon. We were out of there by 7 o'clock.
Really?
That was a really big improvement. Another thing that I loved is that the venue was huge, like ridiculously huge, to the point where, I don't know if you remember, but in Orlando, the way the tables were set up, you were back to back with your opponent.
Yes.
So if the judges needed to walk in between you, they were pushing you in the middle of your sets. They actually had a table's worth of space in between the back to back, so judges can walk back and forth and people can walk, and it's not like a congested area.
Wow.
Other than that, I had a pretty good experience in my play. I was happy with the way I played. I love that our Airbnb, we all did tremendously well in the Airbnb. It's I think Pierre got his highest regional score. Mocha made it day 2. Roe went 6-3. Got better resistance than me.
Roe went 6-3?
Yeah, Mr. 2-8 at Orlando went 6-3.
Amazing. I'm so proud of him.
Shout out to Game Quarter Podcast, by the way. Check them out.
Oh, yeah.
And also Becca, Roe's wife, played in this one. Learned VGC 2 weeks ago. Also, Cap did well too. Sorry, Cap, I love you. I almost forgot about you. I think she went like 5-4.
She's been playing for 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Like 5-4, 4-5, regardless. It's like you've been playing for 2 weeks. That's crazy. That's really good.
Okay. And now I need to get all wholesome about this, because this is what happens when you have a group of people who like to play together, right? This has been what we can see we'll see it in this top 8. This is what you'll see in most top 8s. And I've said this before, but most of the top 8s, top 16s, top 32s are usually the same culprits, right? You'll get the same kind of flavor of people that you've seen before in there. And more often than not, those people are all playing together outside of these events. They're practicing with each other. They have gotten good over the years and are just smashing that good up against each other outside of tournament setting. So that when they go into tournament setting, not only are they calm, but they're ready and they're consistent because of that. And that's what's happening here inside this little Airbnb of people who've just been going to the same things together. Like, we're getting used to each other. We're getting used to the area. And then I took a break from this one, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to be trash.
Mike got so much FOMO. He's like,
so much FOMO.
You did very well in the last one too.
I did.
6-3.
Something like that.
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah. But I'm glad that you had a positive experience with that. It looks like by and large, most people had a fun time at the very least. There are some institutional issues, not institutional, some organizational, let's say, issues with how the tournament is run from a couple people's perspectives. And you had a very good way of explaining this, and I want you to do that for us.
Okay, so before Generation 9, like these rules and guidelines and policies that we currently follow for play Pokemon in official tournaments are years old. They were written in like 2010, like when we first started playing VGC and like competitive Pokemon. So the number of 800 plus players was just an anomaly, right? You wouldn't even consider you'd get 800 plus players at a tournament for a kicker of 256 top CP. So when we nearly don't hit that kicker and we get only 128 get CP, you end up with like a very interesting phenomena where I think, what was it in total? There was like 40 plus players that went 6-3.
Yeah.
And didn't get CP, while there were 63 players that also went 6-3 and got CP just because of resistance.
Right.
That seems a little unfair, you know, mostly because I'm biased and I was kickered out by 10 spots. But, you know, what makes me any different? I have the same finishing record as names that we know.
Right.
Luca Paz, Harrison Cord, which is, you know, our friend Ro. We have Ashton Cox, Moxie boosted. I got the same score as these individuals.
Yeah.
But they got CP and I didn't. Nothing against them. They played phenomenally. But the way that works is resistance. They played better opponents or opponents that didn't drop out of the tournament like my opponents did. You know? That's not in my control, but yet you get punished for it. And it's interesting because Wolf also tweeted out a very similar thing for day 2. For day 2, there were 11 threes in top 8. But there were 9 11 threes that got bubbled out of top 8. So there were more people bubbled out of top 8 that got the same score as the people that were in top 8.
Wow.
So again, players like James Beck, Wolf Glick, Judy Azzarelli, Chuppa Cross, big names, all got the same scores as 3 people in top 8. And the difference is resistance, you know?
So a few things. One, yes, absolutely agree with everything that you're saying there. The positive side to this, I will say, is that I love that at this amount of people in the tournament, at least the top 16 received some kind of cash prize.
Yeah.
And that you don't see too often, especially in Pokemon. You don't really see cash prizes being given out to that many people. Usually you'll just see like top 16, but we have enough top 8. But now we have enough people in which, you know, 9th through 16th can at least come home with $250. People from 5th to 8th ended up with 500. 4th and 3rd ended up with 1,000. 2nd gets 2,000, and 1st gets 3,000 for the win. By way of how esports goes, it's not exactly the most amount given to people, but at least it's given to a large amount of people. This is a very unique esport, and we're going to get to that in a little bit. But the thing that I wanted to say is that the problem with resistance, and what some people who don't understand what resistance is because they listen to this as a VGC podcast, is, as Kevin said, if you play against people who didn't do as well or people who did really well, you either have a higher resistance or a lower resistance. Where if you are faced with a tie, or in this case, a 100-person tie of people going 6-3, the only people who are going to make it through, or the only people who are going to get CP in this case, day one, are the people who win against other people who win. If that makes any sense. If you go 6-3 and 3 of your wins are against 3 other people who only lost to you, then you're going to end up doing quite well. The thing that I wanted to say about that is I remember you were messaging me at the beginning of that tournament, and you weren't very happy because you lost, I want to say, your first 2 matches.
No, I lost one.
You lost your first one.
I lost one, yeah.
Losing early
sucks.
Really, really hinders you in this tournament because you're going up against other people who are 0-1 after you become 0-1.
You're in the losers bracket, yeah.
If you win that, not only you're 1-1, you're facing a lot more people, but the person you beat is now 0-2.
Yeah.
And that is demoralizing. The people who start 0-2 and then climb up have it even harder.
Because you need 7-2 for day 2. So they have to win out in order to have a chance for day 2.
Right. So this method with this many people, with this many rounds, is kind of tough.
Yeah. Losing first is always rough. The thing is, if you just took my rating and made me win first, but lose 7th, I probably would have gotten CP. That's the way it works. The issue with it is that I don't control what my opponents do. Like I don't even control which opponent I get. I can get the 07 guy in round 1 and then they just lose out the rest of the tournament. And that's apparently my fault because the RNG told me that I have to compete against him. The way that I believe it works is that they take the highest resistance and the lowest resistance and they cut them both out of the equation. So only the average of the 5, just so it eliminates outliers, which makes it a little better. But I don't know, man, when you have 40 plus people that don't get CP that went equally, that have the same record as 60 plus people that got CP, it's a little bit like,
it just feels like something has to change in that way.
Just X3, man. X3 gets CP. Anything less, sorry, go home. Because it's not easy to get X3. I'm not trying to hype myself up. It's really difficult to get X3. I was 3-3 and I had to win out, and I did, and I'm proud of myself for it. No, I was 2-3. I had to win out. Like I said, it's back to what Mike was like. I lost a lot early until I just figured it out and won out the rest of my games.
Would it be fair to say that, because I do want resistance to play a bit of a part in going 6-3 here. So if we had, because what is it, 65 through 128, and then onward from that had 6-3. If we had 65 to 128 get 40 CP, and then 129 plus, as long as you went X and 3, if you get 30 CP, 20 CP, something like that.
I'm cool with that. I'd just rather go home with something than 0.
Right. Yeah. I do want to get the same, not the same, but I do want to get some kind of reward, I guess, for going the same record as the people who did get something.
Yeah, what if they do like X3 gets a flat 30, and then everything above that, depending on your resistance, is an additional CP?
Right.
I'd be cool with that. I just think the system is outdated. It needs to be addressed. And I think that if enough people address it and enough people put attention to it, it can get changed. Like they changed Day 2 Swiss so fast. It's like, okay, yeah, this was a problem. We agree. We can't be here until 11 p.m. You know? So I think this is a... And
to be fair, that change was good. That was a very, very, very good change that they've done. You can see, you can feel, you can hear just a difference in energy on day 2. And that's arguably where the energy needs to be, is on day 2. You don't want a bunch of tired people who are up until 11 and didn't get a chance to sleep because they had to practice for top 16. So they go on stream and their hair's all messed up. Because they're like,
everyone in the Twitch chat is talking about it.
Exactly. I didn't have time to brush my hair because I was practicing for the stream. Fair.
The thing is, I think we all want the same thing.
Yes.
We all want this game to succeed competitively.
Yes, very much.
So it's not like we are selfish in what we're doing. I mean, it's easy hearing it from Kevin, who's just an angry old man that got bubbled at a CP twice. But you know, I think this will be what's best for the game. Totally.
I think just giving people that feeling of accomplishment. And to me, that could be anything. Right. And in that sense, to me, it should be, if you end up with the same score as somebody who went home with something, that you get something as well. Like something, anything. People would not be complaining about resistance in 6-3 if they went 6-3, if they went home with some semblance of CP.
Bro, give me one CP.
A single CP.
I'll take anything.
I'd be down. Yes. Absolutely.
And then I get 299 out of 300 right before.
Exactly. But no, I trust that they'll make a good decision, that they'll continue listening to the community, because they've shown that they have been, and I'm really respecting them this year for that. I think that they're doing a great job there, and I hope that they continue to. We have the top 8 from Charlotte. Looking at it, it's actually quite interesting this time. I didn't think that the end of Series 2, or Set B, excuse me, would be this interesting.
Great Tusk Talonflame.
Great Tusk Talonflame. But Richard Rappa, who went 11-3, 100 CP, $500, went in with a Stunjourner.
The thing is, like, Richard Rappa is like a member of the Georgia VGC group, so they were always just hyping him up the whole time. I got adopted by Georgia VGC that weekend, so it was nice being part of that hype. We were so sad that we didn't get to see Richard on stream, and Richard, it's like Richard plays so well. He was like 5-0, 6-0 some of the times, and then I think he lost his first loss in like round 7. He went 7-1. So it's like, why didn't we get to see him on stream? Because I would have loved to seen Stunjourner like above some of the other nonsense that we saw, you know,
right?
Just to see what the heck it did. How much of a difference did it make?
Well, interestingly enough, Stunjourner, it ran Protect, Wide Guard, Rock Slide, and Low Kick with a Focus Sash. But the best thing about it, I think, was Power Spot.
Yeah, that's definitely the best thing about it. You add Power Spot next to a Palafin and next to like a Flutter Mane, it's going to do a crazy amount of damage.
So to remind people, Power Spot is an ability unique to Stunjourner. No other Pokemon has it. In battle, the power of moves used by the allies of the Pokemon with Power Spot is increased by 30%. So it gives your partner a free life orb's worth of damage just by being there.
Wow.
Plus, it has things like Wide Guard to protect it against earthquakes, which is all over the meta right now. Dazzling Gleams that can't touch it. And not for nothing, but it does have a Focus Sash, so it's going to live one hit. It's going to go for a Rock Slide. It's going to do a ton of damage. You know, it's not bad.
It's not a bad Pokemon. I mean, if you need the Wide Guard too, I mean, it's really good. It's a lot of spread moves.
Coming in 7th, again, 100 CP, $500. All of the people 5th to 8th ended up with 100 CP, $500. Was Eric Stewart, who brought an interesting team, but this one is mostly what we've been seeing in Series 2, minus, plus or minus the Garganical. So Iron Hands, Amoonguss, Arcanine, Palafin, Fluttermane, and Garganical.
Yeah, the thing that I remember from Eric Stewart's team is Eric going against Paul Chua, and it being a wet noodle fight until timer every single game.
Oh, no.
Because of Garganical and all the swaps with Arcanine. Goodness. Hey, man. Listen.
Yeah. We've also got...
It works.
Exactly. We've also got Stephen Mia, who went in with a Great Tusk, Glimmora, Talonflame, Iron Bundle, Tyranitar, and Goldengo. This is the only Goldengo. I say it both ways just because, who cares? This is the only Goldengo that we saw in top 8.
Yeah. I mean, everyone's hopped on the Fluttermane train. Fluttermane's a very good Pokemon.
Sure.
And I think there's no one that denies that. Goldengo kind of fell off a little bit because of its speed. I still don't think it's a bad mon. I just think that the meta needs to shift a little bit for it to just just move a little bit away from Great Tusk, and maybe we could talk about Goldengo again,
Right. There's a certain fish who loves Goldengo very much as a partner, so we'll be seeing a lot of that. We've also got Zachary Thornburg, who went in with a Sylveon, Glimmora, Dondozo, Tatsugiri, Fluttermane, and Ceruledge. The only Dondozo Tatsugiri in top 8.
You made it. You're here. You did it.
There has to be one of them. Are we going to stop seeing Dondozo Tatsugiri in Series 3?
I think we're going to see less of them. We're adding another Haze user into the mix with Chenpao. We're also adding another Sacred Sword user with Chenpao. I don't know. I guess we'll see. I think in situations, the thing is, Dondozo doesn't benefit from any of the Ruinous Pokemon because Dondozo can't be on the field with anybody else.
Right. So
it's really in your opponent's hands of how Dondozo benefits or doesn't benefit from having those Ruinous Pokemon on the field. And in fact, the Ruinous Pokemon can alter Dondozo's stats because their abilities bypass Unaware by not being a stat boost, but being an actual number decrease. It's the other way around. So it's interesting. I don't know, but I hope not.
Speaking of hands, Paul Chua.
What's up, Paul?
Yeah. 130 CP, $1,000 went home with Iron Hands, Amoonguss, Arcanine, Palafin, Fluttermane, and Roaring Moon. This is a team very close to my heart. I have used this team time and time again. It's a lot of fun. It can really stall some things out.
This team is Series 2.jpg, man.
Yes.
But hey, man, it did well. It sure did well. 4th place is not easy. 12-2 in Swiss is not easy. And Paul is just an incredible player, longtime player. Holds the 2nd most regional wins in history.
Wow.
Next to Wolf Glick. Wolf Glick just passed Paul in Orlando.
Wow.
But yeah, 2nd most regional wins in history. Good player, great team. Can't go wrong.
Speaking of good player, great team, can't go wrong. 13-1, the only 13-1 of the entire tournament went to Luca Trejette, who brought a King Gambit, Amoonguss, Arcanine, Fluttermane, Iron Bundle, and Dragonite. The only Dragonite in all of top 8.
Top 8 as well. And running the Flying Terra. I think that's the new Dragonite that we're seeing. It's just the better Dragonite. Will it stick around for Series 3? Who knows? I know Dragonite's very good next to Chenpao, but it's with E-Speed typically, so maybe we might see a shift back in a normal Terra. But I'm at the point where it's like, do you really need a normal Terra? Isn't the Chenpao damage reduction enough, or the defense reduction enough?
See, I think that people didn't discover Terraflying Dragonite until well into Series 2. So series, which right now we're all referencing Series 0 before the series even began, when everybody was like, oh yeah, just Terrastallize Dragonite normal and hit it with extreme speed, do the big damage. But I think that people are going to keep with Terraflying. They're still going to use Chien-Pao, but they're like, well, Terraflying Extremes or Terraflying Terrablast did so much damage. What if I toss a Chien-Pao in the mix? It's going to do even more.
Yeah.
So that was that. Coming in second was Joseph Ugarte, Joe UX9, 160 CP, $2,000. Went in with a Great Tusk, Amoonguss, Arcanine, Iron Bundle, King Gambit, and Mimikyu, the only Mimikyu in top 8. This is why I'm really liking this, by the way, is because there were so many unique Pokemon in the top 8. Love this.
Mimikyu actually did some work too.
Yes.
Mimikyu with full offense, no Trick Room, running Curse and Life Orb. So what you do is you see a Dondozo, you click Curse and you protect and you let it die. You just let it go away.
Interesting.
So that's a very good, interesting answer to Dondozo there. The rest of the team is kind of straightforward. Joseph was playing out of his mind in this tournament. I was there live reacting to everything. He was making so many reads and all of them just worked, specifically with King Gambit and Sucker Punch. I'm so afraid to click Sucker Punch, but I'm also so afraid to not click Sucker Punch. And Joe just somehow always knew when the punches were connecting and was never failing back and forth. It was wild. He made some King Gambit switches into an Arcanine predicted switch just so he can get the Defiant boost and then punish for it. I don't know, man. I feel a little bad that Joe just couldn't get the win here. But at the same time, the winner, Justin Karras, first regional win, long-time VGC player. I've known Justin since 2014.
Wow.
Yeah, very long time. Then we both got our start around the same time. I first met him at Apex. Great guy, great individual. This is his first regional win, so congratulations to him. He also played incredibly well in the finals. Oh, I also played him in Orlando. That's right. I just completely forgot.
That's right.
I played him in Orlando. Running the Gothitelle on his team. Also,
only Gothitelle in top 8.
And only 2 Talonflames in top 8 too. Wow.
I know, right? It's weird.
And he's running the Pokemon that I hate the most. And actually, I think his team hasn't changed much from Orlando either. Like he was running something like this similar in Orlando, which shows that he had a good grasp of the meta right when the meta was young. I remember that Tyranitar giving me a very hard time in Orlando, so that's for sure. And also Gothitelle running a bulky Fluttermane, which seems to be the new Fluttermane thing to do. It's weird.
Interesting.
I don't know if that's going to stick around, but
nothing is scarier than a Fluttermane that lives.
That's what I'm saying. It's like when you punch it and it stays, you're just like, wait, that's not supposed to happen.
Exactly.
Something's wrong here.
But yeah, usually it's like, oh, this Fluttermane has Focus Sash, and then I attack it, and then it lives at half, and I'm like, it doesn't matter.
Wait, it just clicked sub?
Oh no.
Hold on.
Submain. But yeah, that was Great Tusk, Gothitelle, Talonflame, Iron Bundle, Fluttermane, and Tyranitar. Very scary team.
A cool adaptation that he had on his Tyranitar was actually running Heavy Slam on it just to deal with opposing Fluttermanes, which, again, big brain. When you're a good player, you make big brain plays. But if you guys haven't watched that finals yet, it was a great finals. It was a little heartbreaking for Joe because he missed a Hydro Pump in there. But that's just Joe's luck doing Joe's luck. So sorry,
This is
Joe.
why some people don't run Hydro Pump on your Iron Bundle anymore, because they've just given up.
And this is Mike giving Joe UX9 advice, everybody.
I'm not giving no. Absolutely not. Who am I? I am a peasant in front of this king of VGC. Yeah, but that was Charlotte. It was a fun time. I'm glad you had fun. I'm glad people had fun. I want to just go real quick back to the points we were making about CP and just how the organization is run and how the tournaments run. Because a thought occurred to me earlier today where Kevin and I were talking about what we were going to talk about. And I quickly mentioned, I was like, this is a very unique esport. And that's not a new thing coming from me. It's not a new thing coming from Kevin. We've both been saying that for a very long time. But I think we haven't really grasped exactly how unique Pokemon as an esport is. Because in what esport, and I'm sure they exist out there, but none that I can think of, certainly none at this scale right now, can you have 800 people doing a full tournament in 2 days? Like, I can't think of a single one. Maybe Super Smash Brothers.
That's the closest comparison, I guess.
That's the closest one.
Because it's hard to think, like, every esport is like a team-based sport, right? And it's like, you have orgs that sign people. Pokemon is like, hey, you got a Switch? Okay, here you go.
Right.
Give me $60, come in.
On the pro side, it's inclusive. On the cons, it's not really conducive to teams. Their teams do exist and people play on them, but I think those teams are mostly spurred on by the fact that those people also make content.
Yes, because they have to get their money somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Because Pokemon, it famously does not pay a living wage for a high level competitor, nor is it meant to. It's not meant to. It's meant for people to enjoy and get a little something for winning if they do really well. However, some people just kind of monopolize the whole winning aspect of Pokemon, and to them it's not really financially viable.
Yeah, of course.
But I'm thinking like other esports. We've got like MOBAs with all their like matches that are predetermined in their circuits.
That's still team based. Yeah.
Even then, it's not over a weekend. It's over like a season.
That is also true. It's every single week for 12 weeks. That's a really good point. There's enough time to whittle down X amount of people. And I think VGC does not have enough time when each game takes about an hour to whittle down 800 people into a list of 8 that deserve to be there. Heck, even a list of 128 that deserve to get compensated for being there.
Right.
That it's really hard to make that judgment on 800 people.
So without having an extra day, you almost can't expect everybody to be happy with the way that results happened. Because you want people to play as many games as possible. You want people to show as often as they can how good they are at the game. But at some point, you got to say, okay, no, you didn't make it. Sorry. And right now that's unfortunately resistance.
Jimmy.
Sorry, Jimmy.
My next complaint is, why do they stop at 40 CP? Why can't they keep going down? Why is 40 CP the minimum?
I want to get 1 CP.
Does
one
10
time
really make a difference if we just keep going down? I mean,
really, yeah. Is it that hard? I don't know. It actually could be. Who knows? Hey, there's a flying Terra-type Lechonk starting Friday, March 31st at Gamestop.
So I know you guys are going to be lining up at your local GameStops to get your Lechonks.
Head on over to Gamestop. Get the flying Terra-type Lechonk. When
Is that
pigs
how they're
fly?
When pigs fly.
Oh my gosh, that's why they did it.
Oh no.
Wow.
I like it now.
It's my favorite
I was so angry
event.
until a second ago.
We were all like, why are they doing this?
Because they'll do it when pigs fly. Oh my goodness.
When pigs fly. We should do that.
Oh my goodness.
Let's do flying.
Actually, we all know the real reason they're doing it is because they saw your winning with a Lechonk TikTok that YouTube gaming forced you to do.
It worked. Exactly. Speaking of fun in-game things that they're doing, Bank is free. If anybody remembers Pokemon Bank.
But everything else on the eShop is dead. Good luck.
Everything else on the eShop is dead.
Goodbye.
They need to keep Bank alive because they built it into their system. Oops.
Oopsies.
Nintendo eShop was like, hey, we're going to shut down. Game Freak puts up their hand. They're like, sorry.
Wait, people need to get their Gen 1 Charmanders.
Yeah.
All
People
the way
are
back.
going to burn their systems if you do this and take bank away from the people.
What else happened? Oh, Samurott is
There's
a
Samurott.
thing. Bug Terra. Why Bug Terra? Megahorn? I guess.
Megahorn. It's gotta be.
I guess so. Sure.
Yeah. So you can go and get a Samurott this weekend. Yes, that'll run from March 31st to April 2nd. Samurott will have the Bug Terra type and the Mightiest Mark. This is, again, part of their whole rollout of, I guess, starters.
It's been starters
right?
so
It's
far.
always been starters, right?
It was Cinderace.
Yes.
Greninja.
Yes.
Decidueye.
You can do it.
And now we're on Samurott.
There
So
you go.
it was Gen 8.
1.
6. 7. And now we're on 5?
They also did 1, but that was just at the beginning, I guess.
Yeah, Charmander. So what are we missing?
So are they going to do 4?
4,
3 and 2.
3, 2. Oh, 2 is going to be Typhlosion.
Yes, of course.
5 has to be Samurott because Hisuian. So we already got the Rowlet. So I guess Typhlosion is next. We can all agree that Typhlosion is next.
It's got to be, right? What was Gen 3 and Gen 4? Gen 3 was Torchic, Mudkip, Trico.
I don't think those are in the game.
None of them are going to come, for sure.
Sorry, Gen 3. Gen 4? We just got Gen 4. They're not coming back. Sorry. That's
true.
Just give me an Incineroar already. I miss Incineroar.
Do you really? Okay. No, I do really want to see Incineroar in Terrastalization meta.
I want to see Incineroar for like a month and get rid of it. Can you give it to me for a month?
Give everybody an Incineroar and be like, all right, see ya.
Delete it. It's Incineroar is traveling from Alola. Can only 1 month visa.
I think it's going to be really, really interesting to see.
Can't wait for my water type Incineroar. It's going to be great.
Yeah. We've seen so many Arcanines. I want to see where Arcanine stops. I want to see if Regulation C sees less Arcanine than Reg B did.
I think it's the opposite, but yeah.
You think there's going to be more?
I think so, yeah.
Because it makes a lot of sense.
You're going to want a way to slow the game down. Because the thing with Regulation C that I'm seeing is that games are very hyper offensive right now. But typically at the beginning of the series, they are fast games. They're hyper offensive games because people just know hyper offensive is easier to just get into and go. When it comes to playing tanky and like calking and living things, that's when the defensive gameplay comes in, and that's typically towards the end of a metagame. So I think maybe in the first like tournament you won't see a lot of Arcanines, but I think as the meta develops, people are going to need a way to slow the pace of the game down. And Arcanine is just our best option to do that right now. I've been seeing a lot of Gyarados on ladder right now. Don't exactly know why, but I'm here for it. That's another way to slow the pace of the game down. But again, I'm not entirely sure I know why. But they're there.
That is going to be today's question of the day. Is which starter do you want to see in this game most? That isn't there yet. What starter are you excited to come back into the meta? Now, I'm curious how many people out there are going to say Incineroar. I'm curious how many people out there are going to be like, Serperior, it's been a little while.
Can't wait for Emboar.
Can't wait for Emboar. Exactly. So if you are watching this on YouTube, first of all, hello. And this is a thing now, everyone, is we now post the video version on YouTube.
If you're listening in your car and you want to know what we look like the next time you go to a regional, probably watch on YouTube.
It's there. But for the people who do watch on YouTube, we post a question of the day every week on Spotify. If you want to go and answer it there, then cool. If you want to go on over to the YouTube comments and post it there, then cool. Go and do what you feel like. But we get question answers every week, like last week, where I asked what goes through your head during team selection in a game. And we got a bunch of very diverse answers, a lot of interesting ones, like this one from Dan. We said dial-up noises mostly. I love that.
That's funny.
First one published. Gotta pin it. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. The Ty says the opposite of my opponent's game plan. I mean, Fair. That's so true.
Yeah. People took this question and turned it into a meme, and I love it. I'm here for it.
There are two different types of feel good moments in this game. One is when you choose exactly what your opponent is going to bring, or where you feel like you think about it and you're like, I know exactly what my opponent's going to bring. They're going to bring these two leads. They're going to bring these two in the back, and then they do it. Nothing feels better than that, except for when you are a Flutter main user and you expect them to KO you and it only does half damage.
Yes.
The opposite of my opponent's game plan. Raven says the words, I'm just picking Dragonite.
I like that.
World-renowned dragon lover.
You're going to love Regulation C.
Yeah. And then they went and posted a whole rental code. And
heck yeah.
My curiosity is getting the best of me right now. And I'm like, I need to know what this is. I need to know what the rental code is. So I'm going to go and pop that in. I'm not going to say what's in it, but if it's the best team ever, maybe I'll talk about it next week. Rick Flip says absolutely everything except what I actually do in the final 5 seconds.
Honestly, we were expecting an actual answer. We're just getting a bunch of memes, and I love it.
Mm-hmm. Josh says, how can I position Specs Flutter main to blow everything up? That's just accurate.
Yeah, no, I like that one, because that is actually like what most people look at. Like, okay, I have a Specs Flutter main. What can I do to one-shot everything? Right. Where does it have to go?
Caleb says, why is my entire team weak to ground? Are you loving how relatable all of these are?
I know why our fans like watching our videos, because they say the same things that we just vomit into the
microphone. Let's see.
Pokésports is thought vomit.
Wow, the Emperor has a good one here. 99% of the time, my first thought is usually, who greenlit this Pokemon? It's so annoying while selecting my check for it. This guy,
he hit all the,
he hit such a level of despair that he harkens back to the inception of the game. And they were like, how did they make this Pokemon?
What did we have to do to get here?
Oh my goodness. Seabass says, no thoughts, just vibes. Can't be out strategized if I have no strategy.
You gotta love Seabass.
Exactly. P.S. He says, congrats on 20,000 subs on YouTube. Appreciate you.
Oh, yay. Thank you
very much.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that here. Yeah. That happened in Charlotte too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
The Georgia VGC people were hyping me up. They're like, move out of the way. Pokésports is coming. 20K.
20K.
Move out of the way, everybody. It's Pokésports.
Yeah, for real. And that is good. Oh, we've got one more from Quentin here. It says, how can I make this team to include my favorite Pokemon and not suck or be gimmicky? And kind of a tough thing to think about at team select.
That's team building.
Because
the team should already be done by then.
But I mean, hey, sometimes we build the ship as we sail it. So why not?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, hey, you know what? We've got to mention this one from Sylveon Mewtwo, who says Golden Go counter. Check. This is the only person who put emotes in not only their name, but in their response.
And you know what? That's one good way to get Mike's attention.
Exactly. Emojis. This is the last one I'm reading. So clearly it didn't work very well. Golden Go counter. Check. Arma and Didi counter. Check. Fluttermane counter. Check. T-Tar Lycanroc counter. Check. Bundle counter. Check. Firefish counter. Check. And forgot Chen Pao.
Sorry.
And clearly that
goes through the whole list of 1,000 Pokemon. Check.
Exactly. Yeah.
Check.
And then you see a Chen Pao on the list and you're like, oh. And then you see a Bruxish and you're like, oh, I didn't. What? But I didn't. Huh. I guess I didn't.
I didn't counter pick your
Count on a Bruxish, huh? Anyway, that is going to be the podcast for today. Do we have anything else, Kevin?
I hope not, because we forgot about it.
Yep. Remind us. Anyway, folks, thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for listening. There's lots of places that you can find us these days. Mostly, you're going to be on YouTube, youtube.com/Pokésports, where we put out a video every single day. Right now, as of right now, Wednesday, the 29th, it is still Regulation B. But by the end of this week, we're going to be in Regulation C, baby.
So scared and so excited. Can't wait.
So scared. As well, if you are looking forward to Regulation C and you want to, compete a little bit, you can do that over on our patreon.com/Pokésports, where we will be putting out signups for the league very shortly. Also by the end of this week. And the Dub League. Exactly.
Because you already wrote that into existence, so it's your fault.
There were some people who, after I started this one, they were like, oh no, I missed it. I forgot.
Well, now you have the Dub League.
Less excuses to forget if it's happening twice as much. So
even when you forget, what are the odds you forget twice?
Exactly. Hey, go and share this podcast with a friend who likes VGC. Go and share this with a friend who doesn't like VGC. See if they understood any of it.
You can apparently learn how to play this game in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Go ahead and do it.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot of fun. Folks, thanks so much. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.